So sometimes this really weird thing happens to me where I'll be going about my day, everything is fine, I'm in a perfectly good mood, and then all of a sudden a thought pops into my mind and it completely ruins my peace. It could be, an embarrassing mistake from 5 years ago. It could be a problem that I'm currently dealing with. It could be something that's going to happen in the future. It's any kind of thought that pops into my mind and it just completely ruins everything. And this is something that I've always struggled with this, and I'm sure a lot of you could probably relate. Maybe not everybody, but if you're the type of person like me, you're kind of stuck in your head a lot, then this is probably something that you struggle with as well. And sometimes it could be so bad that, I could be perfectly fine, like everything could be okay, I could be in a great mood, I could be very grateful for everything that I have in my life, whatever. And then all of a sudden I just think about this one thing it could be from years ago. Or, like I said, it could just be something that's happening, right? It could be some problem that I think is a big thing. But as soon as it pops into my mind, it just completely ruins everything for me. It ruins the whole day, and I'll ruminate on it maybe for minutes, hours, whatever. But since I've gotten into spirituality and learning to meditate, I've learned to become the observer of my thoughts. And basically all this means is that you just start paying attention to what you're actually thinking about. Most people, we go through our lives so unconsciously and we let our thoughts completely control us. But when you begin, you don't even necessarily have to be into meditation or spirituality or any of that. But when you just start paying attention to your thoughts and you start noticing them popping up, and when they pop up, you start to realize that you're only in any kind of emotional suffering or bondage or pain when you are thinking. And if you don't believe me, pull your mind away from thinking right now. Try this with me, even just for a couple of seconds, even just for 5 seconds. Try to just not think about anything. Even you could be going through the worst thing right now. You could have just your partner just left you, you lost your job, whatever situation you're going through in life. Try to just focus on your breath for just 3 to 5 seconds right now, literally. Just focus on your breathing. And even if you only do it for a couple of seconds, you'll see that no problems exist. There's nothing bothering you when you're doing that. The point is that no matter what you might be no matter what you think you're going through in life, there's always safety in this present moment, in that silence. Because your mind is silent when you're focusing on your breath. Or even if you don't focus on your breath, even if you just focus on some object in the room, even if you just you don't want to force yourself to silence your mind, but even if you do just turn the thoughts off for even just a couple of seconds, you can get really deep here and say nothing even really exists. Everything exists through your mind. All of your everything, your opinions, your judgments, your criticisms, your worries, your fears, even the good things, all of that only exists in the human mind, and that's it. And when you learn to expand that silence, when we're focusing on our breath, when you learn to expand that silence, problems cease to exist. Now, the idea here is to not just sweep everything that you're going through under the rug and to say that, I'm just going to ignore everything. That's not the point. The point is to get you from not ruminating over everything so much and to have your mind just constantly obsessing over everything and constantly overthinking. You start to understand that 95% of our thoughts are completely pointless. The thinking that we do need to do, that we need for daily life, that we need to, I have to go feed the dog, I have to go do this, I have to go to this appointment. That thinking will come very naturally, and it isn't, we're strictly talking about the kind of thinking that just pops up and is very intrusive. It's important to remember that you can always find safety in this present moment silence. This present moment silence is all that exists. You have to really become comfortable with that. Nothing exists outside of the mind. And when you're silent in this moment, when you're just sitting in complete silence, you're essentially becoming you're sitting with reality. You're just in reality. You're just one with everything that's happening right now. It's when you start thinking, your mind creates this separation, and it separates you from the present moment, so to speak. So this is something that I always practice. Like whenever I find myself going back, like on these thinking tangents, if I find some thought pop into my mind that disturbs me, or some emotion or whatever, I always just say, like, what's the point of even thinking about this? And I bring myself back to this present moment. Everything is always perfect in the present moment. There's nothing, you'll just think about it. Like, even the worst things that you're going through, are they ever really happening right here and now? Apart from like something that's maybe threatening like your health or safety, but everything else, just our everyday worldly problems, especially if you live in somewhere like America, is any of that ever really affecting you right now? Or is it only really affecting you as a thought in your mind that's going to happen in the future, or something that happened in the past? You see? And this isn't meant to undermine things that you've been through or undermine things that maybe you may be going through. It's just to get you to understand how much we actually live through our minds. Happiness, fulfillment, real satisfaction in life isn't found in old memories. It's not found in future situations. It's only ever found right here and now. It can never be no other way. This is this is nothing new. This is one of the oldest teachings for thousands of years in any spiritual tradition, any religion, anything. This has been taught for centuries, but yet we still get so stuck in our head. We still find ourselves trying to fix past scenarios in our mind. We find ourselves trying to chase future things, trying to chase worldly objects. It's actually the opposite. It's not like happiness isn't found by gaining anything. It's actually found by letting everything go and just being completely content with everything that you have right here and now, because this is it. This moment is literally it. And another little exercise is, as opposed to just focusing on your breath, that's a great way to kind of practice mindfulness. But even just now, like wherever you're sitting, whatever you're doing, whether you're in a room with furniture or maybe you're outside, is like just try to just turn your mind off. Like, don't think about anything. And just observe. Like, just observe the space around you. Observe the furniture if you're in a room. Observe nature if you're outside like I am. With a silent mind if you can, even just for a couple of seconds. That consciousness, like that you observing like that, is who you truly are. It's not the thoughts in your mind. It's not the emotions you feel. It's literally just that state of observation. That's spiritual awakening. That's God. That's happiness. That's literally everything. I just thought of a couple more points I wanted to make before I end this. It's like, I don't want this to be misconstrued, because I think a lot of people can easily think that this means that you should just never think about anything and just all day sit in silence like a monk. That's not really the idea here. This is going to be very personal for everybody. It's going to be very unique for everybody. It's more so to just start recognizing your thoughts and how unreliable and untrue most of them are, and how pointless most of them are. Like I said, the majority of them are just nonsense, and we don't need to have them. How much does the mind like get in our way? How much is our thinking cause us fear? It causes us anxiety. And it's important to remember, like, this isn't something that's necessarily going to just be fixed overnight because you watch this video. You have to practice this. You have to always, like, anytime I catch my mind veering off on long tangents, and I've been doing this for a few years, and it's only like just now really starting to, I'm only really just now starting to get to a point where I'm kind of always in this present moment. Every time your mind goes off and starts thinking about something, you catch it in this like stories of the past or fantasies about the future. You have to pull it back and bring it to this moment. So whether you want to refer to like Eckhart Tolle's present moment, Thich Nhat Hanh's idea of mindfulness, Nisargadatta's idea of the I am, it's really all pointing to the same thing. It's pointing to just bring yourself back to here and now. If you're familiar with Ram Dass's book, Be Here Now, like all this is like just like this is like the highest teaching in spirituality, and this is really the foundation of all of it. It's that this present moment is the only thing that exists. Why even think about anything else? There's no reason to. That's why whenever I start, like, my mind starts to veer off into these long, fantasies, I'm like, why? I just ask myself, like, what is this? Like, why am I even thinking about this? There's no point. Whatever is going to happen is going to happen. Whatever has already happened has happened, and there's just no point in getting stuck in it and causing all this distress. So a really good way to practice too, is to just relax your body and try to bring all of your awareness just into like feeling your body, and try to hold that, like really feel your hands and your chest and your shoulders, and just really try to have like that inner body awareness, really feeling. Or like I said, you can bring your attention to your breath and just focus on your breath coming in and out. There's all different types of practices, but you really have to do them consistently and regularly if you really want to kind of silence the mind permanently. I mean, that's what enlightenment and spirituality is. It's when you no longer really have an ego mind or a thinking mind. It's when you're just fully here now. And it's going to be one of the most beautiful realizations you ever have when that's what I would consider for me a spiritual awakening, is really just when I like actually, it's more, you can't just conceptually understand this. It's something that has to happen very intuitively, where you just understand finally like, oh, my mind was literally controlling my entire life. None of my thoughts exist, and none of my beliefs about myself or other people or any of that is real. And the only thing is here and now. And it's going to be the most beautiful realization and moment that you ever have in life.